Okay, welcome to this video. Today is the 14th of Feb 2020, 6 minutes past 4 local time. This is one of those end of the week videos. I didn't have much time to post this week. I apologize, so trying to make up for it. So I will go through some major markets and explain what happened. It was an interesting week in terms of market structure, as you will see. Of course, the big one right at the beginning, euro dollar did a dramatic down move. And when you look at the foreign exchange markets from a market causality perspective, it all makes absolute sense. Because once you understand how market manipulation works, you can see that the dumb money massively bought into the down move, which leads the so-called smart money algorithms to push the price down, 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 to go for the stops one by one. Right here you can see how the price snapped up, took out this empty stop, the medium term stop, and now it disappears because it has been taken. Did you see that just now? Obviously markets are still open, so everything is still ticking. And of course, you know, these are the moves to take out any shorties who have tight stops and try to have a good risk reward trade. So yeah, I mean, it's rare that we have such a literal squeeze. So this aggressive buying by the dumb money is in our chart over days leads the smart money to be forced to push the price down out of the range to stops which were far beforehand. The ones who follow my work, they know what all of this is about. And look at this, price is just dropping back into the range after this counter stop run. Foreign exchange is all about stop runs, position runs, news, economic plausibility, whipsawing, you know, taking out the dumb money groups, whether they are buyers or sellers, or whether they try to trade trends or reversals. We know the deal. Just wanted to show you some of the other markets. Cable was very rangy this week. You see against the dumb money long float went down, then dumb money switched from long to short, so they went to the other way up. Now stops both sides, flirting with the lower short-term stops there in a range. So was pretty muted. Of course, people who are scalping the range and so on, they like those kind of days with this kind of price action. EG, of course, followed euro dollar, was pulled down, now did a nice snap up. I was able to take some profits there today. I got stopped out on a long here, so I did one trade here, I protected it, and then at the second I got stopped out, and then the third one I caught nicely. The ones who followed it, they saw it. To show you dollar yen stops on both sides right now. That's the reason why the price is in the consolidation on the hour chart. Mixed money flow, longies and shorties. So yeah, they want stops on both sides. So that's pretty neutral from in terms of directional bias. Australian dollar, after it cleaned the lows, it did a nice up move. Remember, this is like a herd mentality thing, or as I call it, fake support. So this was the support, 1 2 3 4 5. Boom, it gets taken out, stop run, 2 pins, low tested, boom, back up. All the games, these are I made other videos on the short-term games of the smart money, and of course also check out my live trade channel, of course, where I documented loads of live trades. I think more than 300 videos by now. I started that some years ago. It's still there for you to study, and of course all the rest I've created is still there for you to study, the thread and all that, and more is to come. Stay tuned, a lot of nice things are going to come. What I will maybe do in the next weeks is I will also document a bit of scalp trades, which are a bit more because I do also quite scalping, so a bit more statistical trades short term on lower time frames, but it's all a matter of me having time, of course. Let's also look at pound yen. Pound yen, of course, like cable, was consolidating, pretty rangy this week. No big moves there. And you can understand why the correlations in Forex change. It's a topic I should maybe elaborate on in this video. So, why do the correlations change all the time? Why sometimes euro dollar correlated to Australian dollar and suddenly not anymore? Well, surprise, surprise, it all depends on the market structure. If the dumb money, for whatever reason, whether they think that the US dollar shouldn't be so strong, or that there are problems on the horizon, or that the stock market's turn, whatever it is, for whatever reason, they have massive buying activity, but only in euro dollar. So they need to do the down move there to take them out. But in Australian dollar, which traditionally is correlated to euro dollar, look at that. It didn't mirror that big down move. It consolidated. Why? Because, as you can see, longies, boom, taken out, main stop run done, shorty activity, so they go back into the range. There's no reason to just follow. And of course, the bigger the market, as a general rule, the more priority it takes in terms of moves. So if whenever you have a massive dumb money squeeze like here, euro dollar takes center stage. Yeah, what I want to show also in this video is the following. Let me show you higher time frames, because that's what you need to understand. Here, euro dollar on day chart. I mean, look, seeing this here, it makes complete sense. Okay, so even historically speaking, massive dumb money long activity. So what do? They take out the long-term low from 2019. You see? This is what happened. Even though the price went down, you know, over a long time period, we're talking like, you know, I mean, people would see this as a downtrend from February 2018. Look, they finish off all this downtrend with a proper stop run below the historical lows because of this. That's the only reason. It's the opposite of supply and demand. That's what I'm preaching. It's not because more people buy than sell, the price goes up. No, it's because more people are long than short. On the dumb money side, the price gets moved in the direction against the dumb money by the smart money entities, the price, the market makers, the price makers, the big SM funds, banks, etc. This is all algorithmic. Okay, it's pre-programmed. It's not somebody pushing a button anymore. It's just an algorithm implementing based on information it has. I talked about this in the explanatory videos. If you're interested in the mechanics, I've delivered quite a lot of explanations there as well. Let's also look at the day chart of EG. Surprise, surprise. Similar story. So historically speaking, a lot of dumb money, long activity. So that's why they also did this crazy move down. And whenever those moments happen, then on the longer time frames you have significant moves like here, you know, attacking multi-year lows. As you know, as I've said before, it's a good idea to, even if you're a short-term trader, to be aware of the longer time frames. Because at the end of the day, if you're aware what the big picture is, so to speak, that's always helpful. This is euro yen, of course. Look, it went against those longies together with the euro dollar. And as I said before, you know, the main market takes center stage. So in this particular case, it's correlated to the euro dollar. You see, because it has its own longies. So longies in euro dollar, its own longies, so they both go down together. Equals some apparent correlation. Now, if there would have been massive shorties in euro yen, what would have happened? No, it wouldn't have gone down. It would have even go up. So the correlation changes based on the market structure. This is why all these correlation systems don't work. Some people go this path and at some point they realize, oh, it doesn't work consistently. Maybe for some time, but then it quickly changes. The same way the market conditions change from trend into raging and all that, the same way correlations change. Correlations change. So that's the reason why, you know, systems based on that are not really consistent. I haven't elaborated on this topic so much, but that's maybe a good moment to do that now. But yeah, this is not supposed to be a super long video neither. Also, I don't want to repeat myself neither. I mean, I've put out a lot of content. I just wanted to briefly discuss the moves this week, show you the market structure, draw your attention to the significant developments behind the curtain, so to speak. And of course, from that perspective, everything makes a lot of sense. Look at that. Boom. Counter move. Exactly taken the stop accumulation. Boom. Back down. You know. But at this stage, I mean, come on. You can't just ignore all that. You can't. I have, you know, done too much work by now. Over roughly 3 years or something like that. Live trades, screenshots. I used to do daily screenshots, live shots, all the explanation videos, all that stuff, that even the podcast, talking to other traders who understand the structure from another perspective. Now, there's a lot to come from my side soon. This is going to be a very, very important year for everybody, as you will see. So follow me, follow my work. And especially the ones who put in a lot of work into studying, understanding all that, they will be happy what's about to come. I had some good ideas how to make things, what can I say, more accessible, you know. And let me say straight away, market causality still needs to be understood, okay? You need to understand all of its aspects, components, okay? Do not just simplify. Do not just, if you see green bars, boom, short. That's not the way to trade it. You need to understand not, you know, everything about it. And of course, advanced traders also need to understand the meter levels because they will show you at which point, for example, the markets needs to normalize, etc. Excuse me. And as I've shown in the last video I posted here, so okay, these are the different essential components, are understanding the news, the stop runs, the position runs, the higher time frames. Of course, then you have the short-term games like fake support, fake resistance, time and range principle, the money flow principle, lasso principle, all these things. It's, you know, you have to understand the medium-term, long-term, short-term stops. You have to understand how the smart money prioritizes. And, you know, it's also helpful if you're a manual trader to understand, you know, some tape reading price action, because, of course, this is completely aligned to what the market structure shows. Let me show you here. You see? Look at that. This is not coincidence. Look at that. You see? Look at this one. Boom. Look at this one. Boom. Look at this one. Boom. Look at... So this is a classical failed reversal scenario, and funny enough, I've elaborated on this in the last video. You see the money is trying to buy cheaply into the market just to be stop hunted straight away. And look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row. Of course, more than that if you go back further. 7 times in a row. Of course, at some point the market needs to normalize and turn. If they took the main stops and they undershot, and dumb money starts to leave the market, and shorties come in and a dumb money switch happens, they will normalize. If shorties get lured into selling euro dollar now, even though it's so expensive to enter, the market will snap immediately. Okay, they will do a grail pattern, take out those stops here. So, for example, next week, if dumb money short bars come into the market, this shows you that, you know, things will snap. But if even more longies come into the market, like in the last days, they will even retest the low and take out this level here. You see, with the stops here. Here, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 stops, no problem. They could even look. If even today there's massive dumb money activity long, they could even gap down. You know, when the markets open on Sunday. You understand? It all depends on this. So, what I suggest you to summarize, do your homework. I've posted several times in which order you can watch the educational videos, then go to the live trade channel, study a good number of live trades to understand, then go to the thread and at least, you know, skim it. I know it's very long by now, but at least skim it and look for important parts. I think I also on the first page have shown which posts can be relevant. Watch the podcast as well, it will be helpful, and also the videos I post on this channel here, you know, like the last few ones, because they are nice summaries, you know. In fact, you could start with those to get a general feeling, for example the last video I posted, and then you can go through the sequence I have suggested. And the ones who are walking the walk rather than talking the talk, the ones who are willing to sit down and invest all those hours like we always preach, not only those 10 but up to 40,000 hours, they will also, you know, get rewarded by, you know, having a better setup eventually, I guess. But I don't want to elaborate on what I have in mind right now. I will do that in a separate video, okay? So please do me a favor, do not talk about supply and demand. I'm allergic against that. Okay, you can't talk about supply and demand if I show you these kind of things like here. Okay, look, this is all ticking. Okay, it's if I take screenshots, you know, on different days, look, this is how it is. Okay, please accept it. Please avoid supply and demand expressions in this game. It's completely wrong. Okay, always think in terms of targets. And also, interestingly, if you believe, okay, my intuition tells me that the market will go down, often it's the other way and vice versa, because, you know, that's basically what the mass psychology does. The mass psychology gets provoked by the chart pattern. They say, oh, price came down so much, come on, it can't go much lower. Well, it can. Look at this. That being said, this is an unusual long down move, but the reason for this is it's an unusual high money long activity. It doesn't happen every day, doesn't happen every week, doesn't happen even every month. So this is a particular dramatic case, so I wanted to document this. Okay, I talked enough, I think. So next week is going to be interesting. There's going to be some good trading opportunities. I wish you all the best. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Stay safe.